To be honest, I kind of agree with Conor on this one. So Conor McGregor, you know, basically shit on Anthony Smith because Anthony Smith said, USADA and the UFC are letting Conor McGregor leave the testing pool and do whatever he wants behind the scenes when it comes to performance enhancing drugs. And Conor actually came out and he actually confirmed the suspicions because he didn't deny it. In fact, he only really confirmed the fact that he was on PEDs. He said the only people that know how severe these injuries are me, Chris Weidman, whose leg broke, and Anderson Silva. And those are the only ones who really know how bad it is. And here's the thing: Chris Weidman still isn't anywhere close to coming back. And Anderson Silva, when he came back, had trace amounts of PEDs in his system. And here's the truth: these guys are people and they're athletes and they love to train. And you know what? I'm not completely opposed to guys taking testosterone, whatever they need to do to heal a serious bone break and then get clean before coming back. Because if you can bring your levels down to normal and you can get it out of your system and you're in the pool for at least 6 months, that's one thing. But here's the thing: if your bone snaps, comes clean off, snaps, then I mean, I don't think you should shit on them or call them out for wanting to get back, because those are the kind of injuries that can ruin your entire athletic career. Those are the kind of injuries that could take 2 years. And Conor McGregor is a big name. He's a big star. You know, he wants to make money. The UFC, he's way more valuable to the UFC than any other fighter. So I think if you have an injury that serious, and you need to take a year off no matter what, take some testosterone, man. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's what I think. So I think Anthony Smith is wrong. I can understand the idea of it's unfair, he's leaving the testing pool, but listen, if that happened to you, why not leave the test? You're not coming back within the year, so may as well leave the testing pool. I understand that there may be a little bit of a double standard, and I don't know if other fighters would be able to do that, but maybe the UFC should allow them to do that because they're not fighting.
Yeah,
And
why not?
maybe if you have a severe injury, you shouldn't be being tested because, if you need to, it's better that Connor recovers than doesn't. And I think that anyone saying, fuck that, he shouldn't be able to recover that fast, like, really
Let
think
them
about what you're
sell.
saying
Let them
because,
sell a million pay-per-views. And
yeah,
then
exactly. Like, people really need to think about what they're saying. You're basically saying, how dare this guy recover from a severe leg break? Like, he's just recovering and becoming healthy. I think it's a little ridiculous to say that. And as long as he's clean when he comes back, that's all that really matters. If that's like saying that a professional bodybuilder in the IFBB wants to become an MMA fighter, he can't do it because he used to take steroids. I think if you get clean and obviously it's not in your system whatsoever, who's to say you can't do it? I think it's ridiculous. It's like saying if you snorted cocaine once, you're never allowed to compete in this sport again. That's just fucking ridiculous. Like, as long as you're clean when you come back and you're in the testing pool for a good amount of time, that's fine. But the guy's using drugs to recover from an injury. If I could get the same good quality drugs as he did to recover from that injury, and I had that injury where my leg snaps clean in half, I would do it. And you'd be a fool not to if you could do it and you could
I
do it
think
safely.
everybody would do that. I think after seeing what happened with Chris Weidman, how he's not recovered since, after seeing Anderson Silva, like what happened to his career since that injury, like you'd be foolish not to take that kind of stuff. You got a guy, Conor McGregor, who's not even that old. Like he's 34, he's 34 years old, like 33.
He
Like
can
he's
still come back and
he can
compete,
still come back and still fight well, and also he hasn't taken much damage over the years. If you really think about it, Connor hasn't fought that much. How many MMA he's fought? Like what, he's 22-6, so he's fought 28 fights. That's
Yeah.
not that much, you know what I'm saying? And they're all very spread out. So he doesn't have much, he hasn't taken much wear and tear. So like he has everything he needs to be the same guy as he was before, other than this break. So if you have
Yeah,
a
I don't
chance,
think he'll ever be the same
I
guy.
mean,
It's
like
the
maybe
mindset.
not, but like he maybe not the mindset, but like he's healthy enough to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I think like it'd be foolish not to do whatever you can to at least be like
Yeah.
80% of what you were.
But honestly, I agree with that. I agree with that. One thing I do disagree with is, you know, I don't know if he's capable of even physically being where he was in the past. I mean, you watch his old fights, he was so fast, he was so slick and so coordinated and so flexible. Like he just was in his, I think Connor's physical prime was in his mid to late 20s. I really do think that
He was
guys can
early
reach their
60s.
prime in a little different time period. And when we're talking about prime, we're talking about his physical prime for martial arts and striking and all that. Like for sure, maybe Connor's physical prime for bodybuilding could be later, but I think that Connor's physical prime for MMA was in his late 20s, mid 20s. I think Connors can still be a beast, but I don't think he'll ever be able to physically get back there. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, he's not getting any younger. He's the most valuable guy in the UFC. The UFC would love to have Connor come back. The fans would too. And I feel like let the guy do what he needs to do to get healthy. And like, it's not hurting anyone else, man. Like, he's not just juicing for
He's
no
not
reason.
fighting in
He's
2 months, you know. He's it's like it's
Exactly. Like he wasn't just juicing for no reason either. Like he wasn't planning on coming back anytime soon. He was juicing because of his leg break. And first of all, I said that he was juicing, and there were guys that were saying, no, he's not. Like, how would you know? And it's fucking obvious that he's juicing, man. He looks
tested.
great, by the way. I mean, he looks big, but it's not just the fact that he's massive. Like, guys can get like that naturally, but for Connor to do that after a leg break in such a short amount of time when you're MMA fighter who's still doing a lot of cardio. Like he's on juice, and I think it's whatever. I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it makes him go back to like kind of like more how he was before the leg. Like, I
I
mean,
hope so too, man. I hope
imagine if it
Connor
just
comes
brings,
back.
imagine if it just makes Connor like pretty good again. You know what I mean? I think that'd be amazing. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely also on Connor's side. I think Anthony Smith is kind of just being a little salty. You know what I'm
He
saying?
is being salty.
Or being a little salty. I mean, Bisping, I mean, wasn't saying as much. I think more Anthony Smith.
Yeah,
You know,
Bisping's a shill though. Like Bisping will never say anything bad about anyone who the UFC likes.
exactly. So
Bisping always says, and I don't mean to offend anyone, or he always says that before talking about anyone and criticizing anyone. He says, and I don't mean to offend them, but Bisping is a fence sitter. But Anthony Smith, I can understand it, but I think in
just
retrospect,
being
like I feel
salty.
like he should recognize like that he's a little bit
I
faulty
feel
as
like he's just
well.
not thinking before he's
Yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah,
situation. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? Like he's not really thinking it through. Like,
He's just kind of thinking about it emotionally and
like
coping because like he knows that
he's
he
not
may
talking
not be able to
about
get the same thing, but to be fair, if Connor's able to do it, I agree. Like other guys should be able to do it
but like
too.
they don't realize like these
Those
guys,
injuries aren't common. They don't really
yeah.
happen.
And also they don't realize like if McGregor is fighting, like you're making more money too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that's what these guys don't understand. Like when Conor is fighting, when 2016, 2018, like the year 2015, like those years, the UFC was making way more money. You know what I mean? Like which means every fighter's making more money. So
Connor's the only guy that can come back and sell a million.
yeah,
There's no one else that
exactly.
sells a million.
Every single Conor fight sells a million, no matter what. So like if when so let's say like you see that fight sells a million, people will watch the full card. They'll be like, oh, the UFC is really good. Maybe I'll watch the next card. And then the next card will do better. Then the card after will do better. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Anthony Smith needs to like stop being emotional and really realize that if the sooner Conor McGregor comes back, the more money you'll be making. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe
Yeah.
you get on a Conor McGregor card. Like he'd make more money on that, and he's also an older fighter, so he's kind of running out of time too. So I think he's just not really thinking. He's not really thinking through before he's talking. So yeah, I mean, and he's just letting his emotions talk.